Everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started with our May webinar with Josh Rapaport, District Lending. Excited about this. Josh brings a ton of experience, really focused on the last 2 years. He started his company in 2018, 2019. And disclaimer, Josh is very passionate. You may hear some colorful words, but we won't hold it against him. So, Josh,
I'll try not to curse.
Feel free to be.
I'm a New Yorker.
Yep. So he's definitely gonna share some of his insights. A little bit of background here, real quick. So he's been in the industry 25 years. Opened 2018 of April. It really is a direct consumer model, and he's licensed in 20 states. So why do we bring Josh in? Really, he's been using Bank of Rich for a number of years, but the big reason is because he's seen growth in the last 2 years. It's a small business. A lot of our customers are, a handful of loan officers, maybe 10, maybe 20. We do have big ones, but bringing somebody in that's got boots on the ground, that's got a ton of experience with managing leads, managing a small team to share some of his insights. So, Josh, background. Yeah. You started early career, call center.
Tell us. Oh yeah, I was at AmeriQuest. And you remember AmeriQuest? Do you remember them or no?
I think I was at the tail end. I got into mortgage in 2000.
So I was actually at like one of the last two branches. I remember guys came in with this guy came in with a suit with these like two bodyguards. He's like, you guys got 1 hour to get your stuff and get out of here. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it was a call center, it was subprime. Yep. But that's how I got my start originally. And then, I just slowly kind of moved over to, retail, right? Like, I think I really honed in. I think I got really great at Loan Depot, but that was, I kind of ran a split. I was working with realtors, but I was also working internet leads. And so what I was doing was I would try to get buyers pre-approved and try to sell them on using one of my agents, right? And then I'd get people to be like, all right, yeah, I'll use one of your agents. And then I'd actually reach out to like a bunch of agents like that were producing. And like, I got a deal, pre-approved. They need an agent. You're going to drive down to my office today if you want it. Like I controlled the lead. I had all the power, so it was really easy for me to get relationships really quick. Yeah. Instead of trying to like cold call them, like, hey, you want to go to coffee and blah, blah, blah. Right. But ultimately I got it was really hard managing both. And I just, realtors are not like super loyal, and I just was getting tired of being like friends with all of them. And even though I maybe didn't like some of them, so I think
we all know how that is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, you know what? I'm really good at working the internet leads. Why don't I just double down on that? So yeah, that's kind of how. And then we don't mess with agents at all right now.
Yeah, and so that type of business where you were working with agents, when did that kind of start to fall off? Was it in 2015 or was it something you did?
No, it was probably right around the time I started District. Okay. Is when I decided, because it's honestly like the way it is now. I mean, every deal has problems, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it just seems like that. And it's like these agents, they'll just fire. Oh, you missed a close date by a day, like you're fired. Mm-hmm. My other lender is, spending $1,000 on Zillow lead, blah, blah, blah. I just got tired of the whole, it just got, let's just do internet. Yeah. So it was probably right around when I would still get referrals, but I wasn't actively like, if a realtor wanted, if a realtor even wanted to sit down for lunch, I'd be like, no, I'm like too busy. Like, if you want to send me a deal, I'll do it. But like, I'm not buying you lunch. So
yeah. Well, what was the inspiration or frustration because we do have brokers, guys that may be working at a bank now, they're thinking about opening a brokerage. What was the inspiration for you to open up District Lending? Well, why do you feel confident enough to do it?
Well, I hate authority. I had my parents I used to drive them nuts. Like I used to get phone calls from the principal all the time. I never liked authority. I was always anti-authority. I hate people telling me what to do. At Loan Depot, if I'm asking for a little bit of a PE and I'm
Mhm.
getting pushback, I have my manager coming in like with the spreadsheet, like, look how many PEs you took. Like, I don't care. I'm trying to do deals. Like, are you not here trying to do deals? Right. So it was just, honestly, it was just really that. I was just really tired of, like, what am I going to leave Loan Depot and make another lateral? You know what I mean? It's just
Right.
lateral. I see all these other lateral. Like, they're not, there's no step up. Right. And I didn't realize it's probably a lot easier to start your own brokerage than I thought. I just thought it would. I see the word like bonds. I'm like, I don't know what a bond is. I probably can't get one. But then like someone actually showed me like how to do it. I'm like, this doesn't sound too hard. So that's kind of how I started it. Just tired of someone telling me what to do and that kind of thing.
So you get started 2019. It's just you,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Until really for 3 years. So 2021,
More than that, but yeah.
you
It was just me. Yeah. It was just me till last year.
till
So it's
last
just,
year.
yeah, just me and one third party processor who's
So
actually with me now.
on that, if we stop here and just say, hey, what would
Yeah.
be, we got 30, 40 minutes to talk about this,
Yeah.
but would you say running lean and mean is the way to go until you can't do that anymore?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have, I didn't have all, I mean, I worked out of my house. Like basically 95% of my budget was just internet leads,
Yeah. So
but
all your overhead was internet, was buying leads, and
oh
then
yeah,
you
I
were
didn't.
working those leads yourself.
Yep. Yeah. I had just the systems and internet leads really. I didn't want to even get office space or nothing like that.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I'm not spending, if I'm going to spend money, I need to make money off it, at least in the beginning, you know.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, it was just me, and um, I didn't even have an assistant or anything. And yeah, go ahead.
And so as we go through the webinar today, those folks that are here, if you have any questions, feel free to throw those in chat. We'll stop maybe every 2 slides, every maybe 5-10 minutes. Josh will grab those, read them off, and go through it. So feel free to throw any questions at him, whether it's how'd you get started, anything that you feel like is important that you want to hear from him. But we're we're trying to focus on the last 2 years of
Yeah.
his business so that he can share some of the things where he made good investments, where he feels like the trends are headed. But these 4 things here is what you have pointed out to be critical for the last 24 months.
Yeah. So I mean, the new website. I actually originally when I did my first loan, it was with AmeriSave, and this was so long ago, and they were the only ones where you can like go to the website, you can put in your information, you can grab different rates. And I thought that was the coolest. And this was so long ago. This is before, this is like, I don't even know how long, 15 plus years ago, right? They were like way ahead of their time. But obviously now I toyed with it for so long, putting like a banking bridge type, displaying the rates for a number of reasons. I mean, how do I display them? Do I want to go really low on comp? Do I want to go high on comp? If rates go down, are these people just going to be sending me screenshots of, the new pricing? Or do I want the phone to ring? Do I not want them clicking around? Do I want them actually talking to me? So I actually toyed with it for years, and then finally I made the decision. Actually, it was a mix between me implementing banking bridge, and also I wanted to go all in on SEO. And I felt like if the website was not like absolutely like top of the line, a lot of ways people come back to me on there. There's a lot of call to actions, right? So that's what ultimately I came to the decision I'm going to redo the website, specifically for banking bridge and the SEO.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked, and I'm happy I did it, because I was toying with it for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then also I was really busy, like I think when stuff slows down, you can kind of like some of the best months for me to like December, because it's really slow in December for new locks. like I always try fixing a lot of things during the
Mhm.
slower, so when it got remember, I mean, we were going crazy with refis, so there's no reason to change anything, like I'm too busy to even do anything. Like it's
Mhm.
just me. I'm balls to the wall. I'd wake up, I'd have like 5 new locks I got to put in. It's like 6 a.m. and I'm getting a million new apps, that kind of thing. And then when everything kind of stopped, or it felt like it, like I was like, all right, now let's do it. So
Take a breather. I think what
yeah,
we see a lot of is people when they're busy, they when they have a lot going on, they don't make any investments. And
yeah.
then
Why?
when
Why?
times
Yeah.
like now, when times are lean, they don't have the money. So it is
But
important.
now's the time. But now,
That's right.
like, if everyone's going one way, you want to
Yeah.
go the other way, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I made a huge investment in time and money on the website, and then we can talk about, maybe this will transition to the SEO piece, unless you wanted to,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
think that the site visitors isn't with your SEO and is interesting where you started and where you are now.
So I actually, like, I have somewhat of a background on, like, I've actually bought and sold other internet businesses, like smaller ones. And so I have a really good understanding, I think, compared to other mortgage, like SEO, backlinks, like how does this all work, right? It's also really different. There's so many companies that offer SEO,
Hmm.
right? And it's really hard to spend the money, because you could be spending 10,000 a month and nothing happens for a year and a half. Especially in mortgage. Mortgage is extremely competitive for SEO. So to be able to rank for even the word mortgage, it's incredibly difficult.
Hmm.
So I think what happens is one of two things. One, you can get with a bad SEO company, which is probably more, it's very likely, right? But also, you're not spending enough money and you're not giving enough time. And
Hmm.
it's really hard. That money comes out every month and you're like, nothing's happening. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you get it really up and running, like, I don't want to say it's forever, but if you're running pay-per-click ads, as soon as you turn the marketing off, like, that's it. You're not getting any more leads. I could shut off SEO today and it would still coast for probably, a couple of years.
Hmm.
But it's high. It's like they're, when these people come to the website, let's say I'm blogging about, one-time construction loans or whatever, like, these people have much higher intent. It's a more branded lead. Like, they went to the website, they landed, they inquired. It's not like a lending tree type lead where it's like 5 other lenders are contacting them and it's going to be ultra competitive, right? So, yeah, SEO is like, I think, no, I don't really see brokers doing it, especially at a really high level. And I think it's really hard,
Yeah.
because
To
you
stick
see,
with it.
like you said, like, you don't want to spend the money, but I mean, nothing's going to happen especially in the mortgage space. Like,
Hmm.
nothing's going to happen for a really long time, and it stinks.
Yeah. So and SEO for those out there, it is essentially you're writing articles about topics in the mortgage industry. And Josh just gave one example: construction to perm loans. It could be VA loan limits. It could be FHA county limits. And you just have a ton of articles written about that. And the hopes that when someone is Googling those keywords, your article is ranking on the
All
first
right.
page of
But you
Google.
also, right. You also want backlinks. I think that's
Yep.
super important to know, because I think a lot of people know about the blogging, but it's like, this, a seed and the dirt. Like, you need both for it to
Hmm.
grow. Backlinks are basically, and you can pay companies for backlinks, but backlinks are, a company, or I guess, let me back up a sec. So there's what's called domain authority or domain ranking, and it's typically 0 to 100. So like google.com is probably like 99, right? The higher the better. So the higher your domain authority, the more, like, if you pump out a blog article, Google recognize you as like an authority in the space and will rank your blog article higher. It's very, very, very hard to, like, once you start getting in the 30s, it's like like insanely slow crawl to get even to 40, right? It's
Hmm.
very, very difficult. It takes a very long time, lots of money. But basically, um, you can have company like what I'm just going to make something like whatever MSN.com. You pay them some money, and then the way it works, these backlink companies, they go to these higher domain authorities and they say, hey, we'll write you a free blog article. Can we link back to our website? And so that company's like, cool, we get a free blog article, and yeah, you can link back, whatever. So by doing that, it's now like strengthening the website. So when you do pump out those articles, you're able to get traction. And like, you don't want to be going, I think another mistake, like you don't want to be going after like VA home loans. Like, good luck, you're not going to rank, right? You want to be going after like, can I have 2 VA loans at the same time? Like longer, at least initially, right? Otherwise, you're just never, like, nothing's ever going to happen. No one's ever going to go to your website. You're never going to get views.
Yeah, I would agree with that strategy. And all right, so you think first thing you do, you got to get leads. So you're thinking the order of importance would be website, then leads, or probably leads, then website, and then
I mean, it's kind of, obviously that's another, when the leads are coming in, now what happens,
yeah,
right? So you can be having leads coming in, but you need a system. You need it to be dialed in,
yeah,
which has taken me, when we talked about it, I mean, it's taken me forever. I've changed the first text that goes out like 50 million times. I used to have a video and then maybe a flyer and then like the different wording. It's just years and years and years and years of me seeing how people respond, and I'll change little things here or there. So you really want to have both going at once, right? Or it's not going to work. Like,
yeah. And it sounds like it's better to try to get all of it in place before you get overwhelmed with processing, underwriting, and all the other things you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you gotta have that front end, right? And I mean, but yeah, I mean, I use Big Purple Dot. I've had a couple of CRMs. Honestly, Big Purple Dot's a really good piece of technology. I would tell everyone to use it. You don't really, they have everything what you need. It works. They have great customer service over there. But yeah, like what happens when the lead comes in, right? Like what happens on day 1, what happens on day 2, day 6, 7, whatever, right? But and also you got to get your messaging right. Like if you don't get your messaging right, it's not going to work. So over the years, I've just refined this down to where it's basically all inbound now. Like all the LOs that work here, they're not sitting on a dialer, nothing like that. I mean, I can't even tell you how many Calendly appointments we get a day. We get a lot of people just calling in, scheduling Calendlys. Just a lot of people just filling out application without even talking to anyone. It's all inbound. Like no one's outbounding. It's all through automation. So a lot of people are texting the line. So it's just, I look at it more as like an inbound call center, even though, what I mean?
So a lead comes in, you're buying a lead comes in, and then the first thing they're going to get is a text.
They get a text, an email, right?
Text and email. In the text messaging cadence, you have written all of those, correct?
Yep. Right. Yep.
So I think that's important for lenders is you use your own voice, map out your 5 to 6 sequence text because it's going to sound a lot more authentic. And then text messaging is key, right? I mean, you're seeing 90% of the deals start on text message.
Yeah, like I said, a ton of people will call us, schedule calls, but the text line is like insane. I mean, if you look at it every day, there is a lot going on there. Yeah. But we do the training. Like, look, over the course of a year, if you have tens of thousands of leads coming in, just a small change, like even if you're converting from like 1.8% to like 2%, like that's massive over the course of a year, over tens of thousands of leads, right? So yeah, the LOs, and I've coached, and we're constantly coaching them. I mean, there's a way to text. you know, you don't just want to do a lot of stuff over text. Don't try to like quote rate over text. Don't try to put a deal over text. Like we just use a text basically. Like if someone responds to it positively, then we'll outbound. We'll try to call them, right? Because you want to get them on the phone. You want to sell yourself, your company. Like they hear your voice. You're a person. Oh, I got kids. You got kids. Cool. You know, let's do a loan. If you try to win over text, you're not going to win. You know, and a lot of consumers try to keep it over text. Like we're not doing that. Like, you know, you're not getting numbers out of us, like that kind of thing. But yeah, the text line is, and you have to two-way text. Big Purple Dot has an app. So like I put together so many deals, just like if I'm at the grocery store, I'm like texting. And the cool thing is like, honestly, I'm the laziest LO like you've ever met. Like I don't even want to write an email. Like I want the lowest hanging fruit. So like if somebody wants to apply, I'll just go into Big Purple Dot, literally push a button they want to apply, and auto email goes out so they can apply. Like I don't even want to write an email like, "Dear Brian, thanks for chatting." You know what I mean? Like it's a waste of time. So like all that was, I mean, it's true. Like I just, you know, next one, you got to get really streamlined too, you know? So I think a lot of,
you know, it's interesting because you just talked about, hey, that you want to pick up the phone and talk to them because they want you to know you're a human being, but then you have to have ways to be more efficient, which is using the CRM for sending out the apply now email. I think that's a good way to, brokers to understand, like you have to automate some things and some things.
All of it. Yeah. You have to automate. All I want to do is sell. I just want to get on the phone, sell the guy, you know, this is what I can do for you. Here's how I can do this. Which we can dive into too a little bit. But yeah, look, everything is automated over here. Like, I don't even know, like there's so much automation. Like, let's say they apply, right? Let's say they want to, okay, send me the app, I'll apply. I push that button, right? A link goes out, text goes out. But then what happens on day 2? Like, what if they don't apply? What happens on day 2, right? Then they go down a different journey. Like there's all these different things just continuing to push them downstream until we're done.
Yeah.
And it's all through like if you're not automating it, I don't even know. Like if I had to sit on a dialer, like I don't even know, Jimmy. I'd work for you.
Well, hey, so key stats from your CRM when Josh wakes up in the morning, these 3 things you're looking at. Talk about those 3.
I'm really looking at how many leads came in, right? Because we want, like, every LO gets we really want to have them. We don't want to have too many leads coming in, just because their service levels will go down a little bit, but obviously we don't want too little. So, and if we, you know, sometimes there's different lead sources where I can push different levers, that kind of thing, or right. So like I just really look at how many came in. I'm not really concerned about pre-approvals, or because a lot of the times too, like a pre-approval is not going to be on day 1, right? It maybe that's a day 6 pre-approval or whatever, right? So that's really all I'm looking at.
And then you talk about non-performing, which is I think LO specific. If they're 60 days in as a loan officer and they're not hitting 3% pre-approval, then that's a red.
Just FYI, like we only mess with purchase too. I mean, do refis come in? Yeah, they do. If rates drop enough, I'll turn, you know, refis on. I hate refis. Purchase is the way to go, like for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, look, we're, you know, I was telling Jimmy, we're like, you know, King Leonidas, right? It's like the battle of 300. Like, I don't want 1,000 guys running around here. Like the LOs we have over here, they're awesome. They can all handle 10 transactions at once, right? They know what they're doing. They know how to sell. They know how to put a deal together. They know how to text. You know, they're the full package. And we're really slow to hire and we're really quick to fire. And it's a 60-day, you know, like you know, we really just want like super high functioning LOs over here.
Before we get in this slide, Josh, if you look, there's a chat in the webinar there. Is there any questions in there?
He said, what CRM LMS do you use? CRM's Big Purple Dot. LMS, what is that, lead management? Or he means one and the same, right? Yeah, Big Purple Dot. So
Okay.
basically when the lead comes in, it doesn't matter where the lead's coming from, it gets pushed over to big purple dot. And then that's when everything, like the text, email, all the automation, the journey basically. And then, and then obviously we can track everything, pulling statistics, pre-approvals, funded, all that stuff.
Great. What about point of sale? Do you rely on obviously you rely on your point of sale a good amount. Have you tried a few and you like the one that you have now?
I mean, point of sale, like Arrive.
Yeah.
I always do it different. Yeah. Yeah, I use Arrive right now. I've used Lending Pad in the
Got it.
past. Arrive's far superior. Honestly, I'm not even really in it that much. Like I said, I'm super lazy. I've looked at enough deals. Like I typically go on a file, I can just glaze at it. Like it's fine. Income is the biggest deal killer. So like I won't even really look at anything else. I'm just looking at income. Like what did they put, right? If I see red flags on income, then I'll dig into a little bit more. But I used to not even run AOS a lot. AOS, you've just been doing this so long,
Yeah.
probably bad for me. But also I don't know who's going to move forward with me to do a deal. So I'll just keep pumping out the pre-approvals, right? Why am I diving crazy deep into this file? If he may or may not use me, like it's just a waste of my time. Like I'll just glaze at it. Looks good. Here's your pre-approval.
Yeah.
I'm not like, well, send me the, if you self-employed, like I'll be like, all right, send me this, but I'm not like sitting there calculating income. I'm like pre-approval.
Yeah.
It's the only way to do it, because again, you don't know who's, especially with internet leads, like you don't know who's coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So the importance of two-way text, SMS, which is text messaging, we talked about that. I think the key thing here is Josh writes everything. So if you're a loan officer, or you're owner of a company out there, write some stuff, write your messaging, and then you have the ability to review what the LOs are texting. I think when we do sales calls on our side, I'll listen to a recording. It takes a long time. If you can just read it, text messaging, you can read them, and it's probably a little bit easier to go through.
Yeah, we tell our guys like, if it's more than a sentence, get on the phone. I'm a big phone guy. Like if you ever see me write an email, it's never more than one sentence, honestly. Like if I pull up an email and I see this like somewhat like an LO writing like 2 paragraphs, I'm like, I just like, no, please no. Like you really want to be on the phones a lot, right? Whether that's a problem in process, whether it's up front trying to sell the deal, like the text is really a way to get them on the phone. And so is Calendly. Like we use Calendly. I love Calendly. People love Calendly. Like instead of trying to like, well, what time works? Like, just like, hey, here's a link to my Calendly. Just schedule a time if you want to chat, and if they want to chat, they'll schedule a time. Right. But yeah, like the phone is king by far. Again, I try not to, I'm not texting like 2 paragraphs, you know what I mean? Like it's not good. Just get on the phone and hash it out.
Yeah. And you're saying all pre-approvals require a conversation. So that's one big takeaway.
Yeah. So I guess we can it's a kind of a nugget, right? I mean, let's say like app comes in, right? Typically, honestly, I'll kind of stall a little bit. Sometimes I feel like if I knock out the pre-approval within 5 minutes, they were like, wow, that was easy. I'll go get another one. Like I kind of want to stall a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Like, seem like I'm busy, right? Like it's kind of little. I mean, it's true. Like if I give it to them in 5 minutes, which I sometimes can, it's just like, yeah, let's go somewhere else now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll call them. I'll go like there's 3 super important calls. There's the initial call where you're getting them to apply, and then there's the pre-approval call where you're going over everything with them. And then there's when they're under contract, right? 1, 2, 3. You got to nail all 3. But on the pre-approval call, I'll usually go like pretty deep on. We're not talking about rate. Like if he brings up rate, whatever, we're brushing over that. But I'm usually going over like seller concessions. Like okay, if you get seller concessions, you can do this with it. Like I'm kind of giving them more strategy. Because then, well, if they do talk to another loan officer, I'm sure the other loan officer is not talking about seller concessions, what to do with it. We can do this, we can do that, right? Just some other strategies to implement when they're out there. Like even when you go under contract, you're going to get the inspection. This is actually if the inspection looks like crap, this is actually a good thing. Now you can renegotiate. Like, this is the best time to renegotiate because they're on a contract. They want to sell the house. They're going to probably give you more money then. Like, so don't panic. Like, little things like this. And I think if you do a really good job on the pre-approval, they're less likely to shop you. Also, once we issue the pre-approval, we do call, even though we're not going to lunch with you, we do call the realtor and just like, hi, I'm so-and-so with District Lending. I just pre-approved your buyer, right? That way they're not like, oh, well, I don't know this LO, use my local guy.
Yeah.
They're less likely to do that if you call, send the letter, say hi, here's my info. It's a 1 minute phone call, and it's going to probably save you from a lot of deals going to the local lender, right? So
it's funny, like you're a direct to consumer lender, but you're doing so many fundamentally,
you have to.
like still the fundamentals that people probably did in 1995. Picking up the phone, having a conversation.
Right. I had to get really good. Look, the only way I knew this was going to work at an extraordinarily high level is how do I squeeze as much juice as I possibly can out of every lead, every time I talk to someone.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, otherwise you're wasting money. You have to do things like this. Like, if you really want that, that extra level of conversion.
Yeah. And you always talk about every deal is challenging.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Everyone, whether it's a
easy
borrower,
deal, hard deal.
Everyone.
I think that's the magic of a loan officer is, even though they might find you online and they might look at your rates, every deal is challenging, and they all need their hand held through the process. Yep. No matter if it's the first house or the fifth house, it can be difficult. Talk about email. So you've got a great philosophy on you still believe in email.
Oh yeah, I've heard someone, and I told you this. I was in some broker channel, and someone's like, "Email marketing's dead." Like, no way, dude. My emails are so stupid. If I showed you it, this is the dumbest. It's just really, it's a text, because if you put any pictures or anything in it, it's most likely Google will like block it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just text, and all it says is the day's rates. That's it. And like a little, like, if you want to apply now. I've been sending the same email out for 10 years. I probably send it once, sometimes twice a week. And the subject line is always like, the market is rallying. Whether rates are going up or down, I don't care. The market is always rallying when I'm sending out an email.
Right.
And so many people respond to the email. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'll look back sometimes like, oh man, I got this lead like 6 months ago. I mean, this guy probably got, 150, 100 emails probably from me. Like, he's finally responding, right? But that's all, like, that's all I do, and it works. I'm not talking about, I don't know how many people open up mortgage is so boring. I mean, open up a mortgage email, like, look, honey, like, look, we get reduced mortgage insurance. I don't know if anyone cares about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Or the spring cleaning for the gutters.
Lawn. There's so much. Mortgage companies try to be like, trendy and no, nobody cares. Like, everyone's on TikTok watching this idiot eat a bunch of pancakes. Like,
I totally agree. So you go from yourself, Josh, you have I think a longtime processor that you brought on a couple of years ago, but now in 2020, in a year and a half ago, you started hiring LOs, and you probably were nervous. Probably were like, God, this is going to be, I got to hire people. So walk through what you're looking for when you're hiring folks.
Yeah, I mean, I think, lean team, but highly efficient. I mean, these guys they really are. They're the real deal. And if you're not the real deal, like, you can't work here. That's bottom line. And like it, but also we have, which I know is not on here, we have a really good manager. He's actually my good buddy. But he's the closer. Like, stuff's going sideways on a deal, he can fix it. If something needs to get resold, he can resell it. Deals need to get glued together. He's the master. You need to have that stopper in place, because if you have 50 deals in process, 8 of them are going sideways. Like, it's important you get someone that can fix, 6, 7 of them, whether that's reselling, whatever. Right. But yeah, look, we're really, my processors, the one Tammy's been with me for years. She's, I don't know if there's a better processor in the broker space. I would love to see one if there is. When it was just me and her going through the refi boom, we would have some months we were doing like 40, 50 loans, and it was just us, just the two of us. So she's that good. She's like, to be able to do that many loans, and she fixes problems, income related, all this stuff. She works hard. I think that's a big thing over here. Like, if you don't want to work, like, you can't work here. Like, I want people that want to work, they want to work hard. Right. And that's actually, like, I thought everyone had that when I was like younger. I'm like, oh, everyone. It's not true at all. Like, it's crazy how many people just don't want to work.
What about experience? Are you trying to find new loan officers with experience, or do you like to train?
I'll train. I mean, look, I'll train them up to a certain extent. I don't want total newbies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the biggest things is just that work ethic, right? Like, we have one L over here that's like not the greatest on the phone and not the best at putting deals together, but they outwork everyone, and they put, just as many deals in as everyone else, like constantly, Saturday, Sunday, like they'll take a call anytime. You know what I mean? And so
you need that guy. Those guys they're not super efficient, but man, they'll just keep hammering on.
Yeah, and it works. Yeah. We've had people over here that don't really want, you like text them at like 5:01. They're like, sorry, I can't. I'm with my family. Like, no, like, I get it. I can't force you to do anything, but I mean, when I was just myself, there was no. I mean, I remember being in the middle of Tokyo, and I'm like talking to some guy, and Jen's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I'm putting the deal together. Like, like, there's just no, it's just,
What about, so your job, when you think about what does Josh have to do when you as an owner, you're focused on the quality of the lead, because that's what's going to make the team more efficient. Is that kind of where you're focused?
That's a big one. I mean, look, I think when people are buying leads, or when they first start buying leads, they might not see them like, oh, these leads are crap. Like, there's a lot of ways to look at a lead, like how much is the cost, how much is the, per funded. I've got leads that were like $1 or $2, and then I've bought leads that were $130 a pop. It's not so much the cost of the lead. It's just like the performance of the lead.
Yeah.
But also these cheaper leads. I mean, you're plowing through a lot of crap to get to, the good stuff. So again, I'm really lazy. I don't want that. I don't want to sift through God knows how many text messages, about DPA programs to find a good one.
Yeah.
So I just really, I want quality, like the highest quality lead that you can generate. And that's what I'm interested in. And cost is not, whether it's $40, $100, but ultimately you need to be looking at cost per funded deal. Like, I'll pay $1,000 a lead if I can get, one deal every 2 leads that come in.
Yeah.
Right. So but also, like, when you're buying a new lead source, I think looking at like response rates are really important. Like, how are they responding? Is it a lot of them like, hey, I didn't inquire, take me off, stuff like that. Like, so you can kind of tell pretty quick if a lead source is going to be working or not. And I've tried, God knows how many different lead sources. We only use a few now with the SEO, just because a lot of these lead sources, they're out of touch with, like, I think maybe even what we make and how hard it is to get these deals. Like, I'll just throw bank rate under the table. Like, they're like 120, I think they're like over $200 on a refi lead, but they're not any better than, like a rate table lead, right? Like a different type of rates. So it's like, why am I paying you all this money? Like, it's just like, so yeah, like, that's just, kind of how we run it on that side.
So a way that you can you can start to work in the quality is automation through the CRM. So it sounds like by automating, you're eliminating the LOs having to touch it. And then when you get the response, that's when it triggers.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Is that like when I was just myself running it, right? I'm spending whatever, 50, 60 grand a month on leads. and I even had lead providers, and I told you this. I've had lead providers not sell me leads. I'd go to them. I'd be like, yeah, I'm looking to buy like 20,000 a month, and they're like, okay, how many LOs do you have? I'm like, it's just me. They're like, well, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, we're not going to sell you that. I don't even know what they thought. It's just some idiot in Arizona, wants to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what.
Right.
Um,
Well, so as we kind of the last maybe 10 minutes here,
Yeah.
we talk about goals for this year. What do you see working? Let's roll through a couple of these as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, SEO is doing really well right now. I think we get like, I don't know, 10, 15,000 people back to the website a month. That turns into deals, right? Obviously the website, I'm really happy I redid it. People really like the website. Especially with Banking Bridge, we got to throw a Banking Bridge plug in here, right? But I think, look, people don't know even what they want. They want rates, they think, right? So we give them rates. But now that I've seen like lots of people go through the website, I think here's what's happening. I think the fact that I just give them the rates, display the rates, I think it's comforting to them. They're basically like, this company is transparent, right? Why do I go to this other website and there's nothing? I got to call some guy to sell me on something, right? Are they going to the Banking Bridge and, clicking in and looking at the different? Absolutely, right? But I think it's deeper than that. I think it's the fact that, they're able to get what they kind of are looking for. And then they will call in and blah, 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 right? So it's really what everyone wants, right? I mean, because they don't know. I want the rate. I always thought about redoing my website. You just go to districtlending.com and it's just a giant number. It just shows like 6.5. That's it. There's no meet the team page, nothing. That's it.
It's a rate.
It's just one. Rate. It's just an interest rate. That's all I am.
Oh gosh. So from a hiring standpoint, you mentioned your manager. When did you bring him in?
I think that changed a lot of things in my business, right?
Yeah.
It was just me. I was doing all sorts of, bringing him in was like critical. He's been here probably 6 months now. But if you're going to do this, you need a stopper. You need the ultimate LO overlooking. You need the guy that's going to fix, sell everything. Just the best of the best.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you when we were preparing for this, you mentioned you've got a team of absolute all-stars, and it is hard to think that you can get that team, but Josh has shown that you get 3 or 4 or 5 LOs, you can knock it out of the park.
Yeah, it's really hard actually. It took a lot of phone calls trying to find the right. It's hard. It was a lot harder than I thought. I thought, man, my system's so great. Like everyone's gonna wanna, it's just all inbound and like. I that's the one piece when I think I started growing it. I'm like, man, I was so wrong on that. Like, It's way harder to get the right LOs in here, But when you do, you're just putting gasoline on it. It just gets easier and easier. So
24 stats year to date. You're at 80 million. You've done about 200 units. You've got your employee counts around 14. That includes your 7 LOs, and they all work from home, right? They're all remote.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're not sitting there micromanaging them. You're not looking over their shoulder, but you've got training, you've got their help in place, but they're working from the house. And you're 3 times ROA. So let's talk about that.
Used to be a lot higher.
You said 2018 and 17, it was like 7x.
Yeah. But look, I mean, the mortgage industry, it's fluid, right? I mean, rates go up, they go down, markets, stuff's moving around. But yeah, probably right around there right now, which is actually pretty good. But yeah, I would, as far as spending goes, I mean, the more LOs we bring on, the more I can spend, right? And then SEO, like I don't have any, now that it's like really working, it's a lot easier to spend the money, on SEO. But I'd love to continue. I really want to get it to 50,000 people a month. And just keep pushing that, because honestly, that's a lot harder to replicate, right? companies could just go out and start buying leads, but you can't just quickly like get your SEO up and running. You can't push a button. It's very difficult to replicate.
Mm-hmm. And then when you say so for everybody, when you say you spend money on SEO, that means you're hiring somebody to write blog articles for you. Josh is not writing articles.
No, I'm not. No, I have a guy that, again, from my previous kind of, there's a lot of bad companies out there. And if anyone wants a referral, like my guy he's insanely smart. I trust him. He's one of the, when you build a company, you just have like great vendor partners. Like he's one of them. There's so many companies out there that are just a ripoff, and you spend $2,000 a month, nothing's happening. Like, I'm sure that's a really hard space to even know how to find a good person,
And then you've got next year, 100 units a month. You're going from 50 to 100 units a month in 2025. I think that's a great goal. So you're out there, you're small, you're a broker, you've got, less than 20 employees. You can definitely do it. And you got to have the right systems in place. You got to be willing to make the investments.
Yeah.
And keep it going. So as we wrap up, I'm not going to hit on this too much, but Josh does a lot of video stuff on his website. I think that's key. It makes his website super interesting, along with having rates on there. Lets people get to know you, and it builds trust a lot faster. So get videos in there of your own personal videos. He does all of his recordings. It looks good. And I think that's the thing. And then getting reviews and your website as well for that. So Josh is an open book. If you have questions, feel free to email him. He works, as you can hear, he works a lot. So he's always around his computer, and he's happy to answer any of those questions. Josh, got anything in closing remarks?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we didn't even touch up on a lot of, we could talk about this for a while. But if you guys need help, if you can always just, email or call me. And, if you want to dive deeper into some of this stuff, if you are doing this now, I mean, I've been doing this forever, so I probably know the answer. I probably tell you what you're maybe doing right or wrong pretty quick, so you don't have to go through what I went through, spending the money and waiting. And I mean, it's hard. So
yeah, use Josh as a resource. And thanks everybody for jumping in, and we'll catch you in May on the next one. You will get a recording of this webinar. It'll come to you via email after this is done.
And so, John email. I think I talked to John Doyle.
Yeah.
I want to say I talked to John. SEO, not as many rate shoppers, right? Because you're not blogging about rates. You're blogging again about, like, I get a lot of, I think we wrote a couple articles on barndominiums. Barndominiums?
No,
I don't think they're in Miami.
Barndominiums.
Never heard of a barndominium?
But they're
It's just Google a barndominium. So like we wrote some articles on barndominiums, and then like people were reaching out to us about barndominium financing. Like, so they're not like, what's your rate?
Yeah, they're just trying to get a loan.
Right. They're like, hey, do you even do barndominium financing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You were talking maybe about a month ago, I was on ChatGPT and I Googled VA loan limits, and your article came up for the third result. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
That's another, that's when your SEO is working, is when you've got, you're showing up on ChatGPT.
Yeah. Again, I think it's so difficult. Like, hey, you're going to spend $100,000 and you're not going to get anything back. Like, what do you mean? That's like, this sounds horrible. Like, why would I do this? Right.
Yeah.
And then they tell you too, like, I don't know when it's I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know when it's going to work. Might be a year, might be a year and a half, 2 years, My buddy Tyler, Arnaiz.
Yeah.
He's he just started the SEO, and man, I must have gotten 1,000 text messages from him. I mean, the last one was like, if this doesn't work, like, like you're dead meat or something like that. He's just so nervous.
You're going to help me with my Yeah. It is. It's a significant investment. We do a lot of blogging on our side as well, and it's the only way our website gets traffic. I mean, it's 90% of our website traffic.
Well, you cold call. You either cold email me or called me.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was,
We'll
which
do a
is
little bit of
impressive
both.
considering. And I signed up, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
But I mean, your thing is so niche, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even really know what to Google, trying to find a banking bridge. But look, I mean, you're the only ones that are doing it, especially to this level, right?
Mhm.
And it looks great. I mean, I love all of it. And I know I've worked with you on a lot of the stuff too, right? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, why would you not have it on your site? I don't know. We
Yeah.
talked about it, right? Going to different websites, like clicking on like pricing. Like, why do I have to go to I just give me your price. Like, I go to like Ring Central, right? It's like, okay, I see the pricing, and then I go to the next website, and there's no pricing. Well, now I'm going back to Ring Central. I'm not even
Right.
gonna call. Just
Right.
just give me what I
Yeah.
want.
Well, I think we covered all the questions
Yeah.
in chat. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. We will catch you in June. We've got another one lined up, and we will talk to you then. Josh, thanks a lot,
Thanks,
man.
Jimmy. I'll talk to
See you
you later.
guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.